What is the hardest sport in the world? It's not football, obviously. It's definitely not golf. Rugby, gymnastics, swimming, athletics, basketball, baseball, hockey, netball. No. You could make an argument for boxing or MMA, but you'd be wrong. The answer, of course, is tennis. Now, before you start typing a comment, stay tuned and I'll explain why. Firstly, there's the physical demands. You need to have a multitude of different physical skills in order to play the sport. Explosiveness, agility, reaction, endurance, and that's before we get to the creativity and finesse when we actually get to the ball.
Where you need supreme hand-eye coordination.
What's more is that when you step on court, you have no idea how long you're going to be there. It's not 12 rounds, it's not 90 minutes, it's not 18 holes. It takes as long as it takes. The scoring system means that you could be on court for half an hour or 6.5 hours. Andy Murray played a match last year, it was a 3-set match, and he was on court for 3.5 hours. The longest match in history lasted over 3 days and was 11.5 hours of play. And it's 11.5 hours when you're on your own. And that brings us on to the next bit, the mentality. Tennis has been described as chess at 100 miles an hour by Gabriela Sabatini. It's been described in lots of other ways, outlining the mental challenges that face you when you step onto a tennis court. It's a battle, it's it's gladiatorial, it's a duel. And unlike team sports, obviously, you're on your own on a tennis court. In football, you can go missing. What happens if you go missing on a tennis court? You lose very quickly. You can't hide, it's you against them and no one else to help you. Same goes for any team sport, rugby, basketball, cricket, whatever it might be. Tennis, it all comes down to you. That's why you see people crack, that's why you see these massive explosions, because the mental pressure on top of the physical strain is just so immense. You have no coach, you have no teammates, if you're playing singles at least. You've got no referee or umpire unless you reach a very, very high level. We're not afforded that luxury until we get much higher up the chain. So not only do you have to master this incredible sport with all the physical attributes, with all the mental toughness of fighting someone down the other end of the court, you've also got to know and implement the rules while playing. You've got to call the ball out. You've got to know when to change ends. You've got to know how the scoring system works. There's no one there to help you. Added to that, your coach cannot help you. It's not like on a football pitch or a rugby pitch or whatever else where someone can stand on the side and shout and tell you where to go and where to move and what you've done wrong and how you can adjust. Up until recently, when they trialled it on the Pro Tour, something that I'm vehemently against because it takes away all these extra challenges, you couldn't have any outside help from your coach. You just had to figure it out. You had to figure it out, you had to adapt, or you die. Or lose, if we're being more sensible about things. The final mental challenge is the scoring system itself. In tennis, you can win more points than your opponent and still lose the match. I don't know any other sport in which that's the case. I might be wrong, let me know in the comments, but as far as I'm aware, that doesn't happen anywhere. If you're going to take up tennis, prepare to lose a lot. In his most successful year, Roger Federer, in 2006, won 3 Grand Slams, 12 tournaments, 92-5 record over the course of the year. But in that year, he only won 52% of his overall points. So he nearly lost half the time. This is what you have to deal with. If you're going to play tennis, you must prepare to lose a lot and recover from it and move on. So why bother if it's so difficult? Well, for all of those reasons. It's that challenge, the physical demands, the mental challenges that makes the game so intoxicating, so difficult, but so incredible. To truly enjoy the highs, to enjoy those wins, you have to experience the lows, and there are lots of them in tennis, and they're very frequent. But that's what makes it so addictive. Mastering this game and the mental and physical challenge that go with it keeps the mind and body challenged from the first time you ever step on a court to the last time you step off one. So go, play tennis, prepare to lose, prepare to adapt, prepare to be physically challenged, prepare to be mentally challenged. And get in the comments and tell me if you think there's a sport that is more challenging, so long as you can outline the details as well as I have done here. The golf swing, often compared to the serve. You're stationary, nothing's moving, except for the fact that in golf, the ball doesn't actually move. It just sits in the tee or sits in the grass. Whereas in tennis, you've got to place that ball up before you go get it with the serve. Also bear in mind that when you're serving, there's an opponent down the other end trying to affect the way you feel about your serve before you strike it, and then trying to return it back. So you're already having to think about the next shot. It's like the equivalent of someone standing on the fairway waiting for your drive and getting ready to club it back at you. Not comparable. Little bikes. Trying to film an ode to tennis here.